Thank you, friends. Shabbat shalom and greetings to you all. Christmas is over. Circumcision Day is past. We are in a new year. Another new year. Another new day. Another new time. Another new way. But is ever any different? Any different? I wanna know. Only you can actually make it different. If every day of every year is the same, you've only lived one day. There's 365 days in a year, 365 opportunities for you to shine, to live your life as you want, as it was meant to be. And I certainly hope everyone's new year was great. For whatever reason, and that reason is, it is a perceived new beginning. It has become the time of the year when people make resolutions. You say you want a resolution. Well, we all want to change ourselves. We used to always make, New Year's resolutions. Then as we get older, we stop making them because, we don't always hold on to them. But we get used to things. And New Year's is an arbitrary date picked and not connected to a cosmic phenomenon like most holidays are. And so it sometimes is a little bit harder to get the same thoughts and feelings as one would for like Nowruz, tied to the spring equinox, or the Chinese or Jewish New Year's, tied to the movement of the new moon in a bigger cosmic wheel. But in our Gregorian calendar, New Year's is based on Christmas Day, which is the only fixed date holiday in the Christian calendar, as Easter is tied to the moon and is the first full moon after the spring equinox. And so it can be any date between March 22nd and April 25th. Its connection is to Passover. And because Christmas is fixed, New Year's became fixed. And it's always brings up an interesting question for people. They make their resolutions. Well, how do you keep your resolutions? For the most part, we do not stick to them. So how? Well, you know what? The real answer to that, my friends, is any way you can. I sat in on a vision board class in which the people created a new blueprint for their lives by cutting out pictures representing the wants, needs, and desires of life, making a visual picture where they want it to be and go. It is a blueprint to build your life's future. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I had not done one in a while, and it felt good. And it felt good to do one with a whole bunch of other people. And because it is not just computer generated, it involves all of our senses, in order to engage us more completely. We are designed to be sensually engaged in life, as we are when we celebrate events and holidays, Sabbaths, gatherings. Even when we come together and gather, as we do to honor our spiritual beliefs, you with yours, me with mine, each with their own, all accepted, at least they should be. In a gathering, the collective consciousness of seekers, all showing individual faith, any and all faith, love, any and all love. It is a true chavura, which is a fellowship, expressing our nature of kindness, compassion, thoughts, feelings, hopes, dreams, and wishes, unites us all in this community house of Spirit Beth Ruach, sharing, bringing light, keeping fear at bay, and even though together, we're always individual in our approach and we're accepted for each of our own individual approaches. As long as you have belief in your heart and your soul that no matter how many people you're surrounded by who are not the same as you, but who hold strong in their faith as you hold in yours, will unite, each connecting in his or her own way. So once again, please do go ahead. Invite everybody you know, physically, digitally, psychically, emotionally, or spiritually, to gather and share. From Psalm 133, the Hine Matov. Come together. Hine Matov. Shevet Achim Gam Gam. Hine Matov. Shevet Achim Gam Gam. How good, how pleasant it is for brothers and sisters together. Community. 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 let's all spread love, goodwill, and fellowship to the world, my friends. Remember, this is your setting aside just a little bit of sacred time in your own sacred space to honor and converse with whoever, whatever you happen to believe in, and we all believe in something. It's part of your Kavana, your intention that you put out to the universe. It's your goodwill. Goodwill and intentions are the root of what you can control in life, of what you can correct if you find that you've gone off key. Now, your intention sets in motion everything that occurs in your lives, my friends. So, every time you take a stock of yourself, if you need to make a change, make a change. We use that intention of good and renewal and health and well-being for everybody, and we send it out. We send out the energy to help those in need of healing, renewal, and those in need of blessings. So let's take some time now. Let's use that light, that intention, and send some of that goodwill. Some renewal and healing out to whoever you know that needs it. Everybody does. It floats through space, finding those in need. So send it out for those you know and for the souls and spirits of everybody you love. So think of whoever that needs healing and renewal and love or just plain goodwill. Focus on them. Call their names. It's not just for people. It is certainly for our pets. It's for the earth. It is the healing of the world. The Tikkun Olam, healing of the world. It's part of our spiritual genetic makeup. It's our task to help heal the world. We won't complete it, but it is an ongoing commitment that we make to be dealt with in this lifetime. Part of that healing of the world is when we send thoughts and energy for health and renewal and goodwill for everybody. They don't have to be sick. It's for those in our hearts and our minds. So let's all send energy for the people in need everywhere. For Yosef and Wayne, for Nikki and young Alex, for Leanne and Pablito, for Chris and Terry, for Doria and Anne, Connie, Aurelia and Joseph, for Snoopy and Lori, for Mookie and Dave, for Ryan and Devora, for everyone you know who's in need, for all our sacred animal friends everywhere, and for the whole world, my friends. It is the kindness, the healing, wishes, goodwill, and love we all send out. It just circles the world finding those in need, so thank you, each of you, for all you do, for all you care, because the world is a world of spirit. And spirit, my friends, never dies. Avotenu Makor Limotenu. May the source of strength bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage. Make our lives a blessing. Renewal of body. The renewal of spirit. Let us say, Amen. Misha Baruch, let us all have our spirits renewed. This is the great prayer for healing, which we call upon God to heal as He is healed before. Misha Baruch, may He who blessed, because all healing's a blessing. Let's all send and receive healing and renewal energy in our efforts to love, to share, to care, to grow. This week we're going to get the last three plagues. It's really the big three. Not that, all of them aren't big. And we get the instructions for the Passover and for the holiday of unleavened bread. But before we get to these, let's take a quick review of what we've seen, because they are so important. Then we'll add these three new ones, and we'll take note of which, if any of these, may or may not still be applicable in your lives. First was blood. Blood is the life force of man. It is the one true forbidden food. His ki, his soul, his nefesh, his ruach, spirit, flows through blood. Friends, ask yourself, has your life blood been cut off? Has your energetic love of life and experience been curtailed? Have you cut off another's? Frogs, they're a nuisance, when they point out the warts of life, but they're a disturbance, just like lice. They're pests, they're bloodsuckers. Are there bloodsuckers in your life? Are you a bloodsucker in anybody's life? None of these will kill you. Beasts. Now, it's really swarming creatures, and the swarming mob that interferes with life and can sweep you up, either as a member or as a victim. Then pestilence. Pestilence was a true livestock plague, and that affects the food chain, and therefore the survival of a nation. This is a true harbinger of death. Pestilence is a term that makes one cringe like leprosy. It has social implications as well. If you have it, you're an outcast. Friends, are you an outcast? You cast out others. Boils. That was another disease, 2 diseases in a row. And it's not quite a repetition because this disease is very different in that this is specifically a visible disease. Visible differences incubate discrimination. We see and we act on what we see. So beware of either discriminating or being the victim of discrimination. We are all equal, but we seem to be living in an age of growing discrimination in all forms. The last of last week's plagues was hail, which was this thunder and lightning kind of hail. It really was powerful. He who causes, meaning God, said to Moses, "Get up early in the morning, stand in front of Pharaoh, and you'll say to him, 'The God of the Hebrews said this, let my people go so they may serve me, because this time I'm sending all my plagues at your heart and your servants and at your people, so that you'll know there is none like me in all the land. Because by now I could have put out my hand and struck you and your people with an epidemic. You would have been obliterated from the land. In fact, I established you for this purpose, for the purpose of showing you my power, and in order to tell my name all the earth.'" Now listen to what God said there. He could have loosed an epidemic of epic proportions, kind of like ours right now. This is his introduction of himself to the world. Now, what a way to say hello. This plague comes as a destroyer of crops. It means, again, there is no food. And this was special because it was burning hail, fire and water. 2 opposites which fight each other. Where in your life have you been devastated? Where have you devastated in others? And where are you fighting yourself? These plagues are current. Their message is timeless. They still reverberate through our lives. This week we're going to read the last 3 plagues and find out all about Passover and how the calendar actually works. Well, Passover was the most important holiday in the Torah. It wasn't Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. Passover is the festival of freedom. Freedom is not a long ago celebration, but an all the time one, which is why you were to celebrate it as if it were you being freed, because it is about you being freed. And this week we read Bo, come. Now it actually means come and go, like shalom means hello and goodbye. And there's a lot of words that have more than one meaning, and these are kind of like opposite ones. You say yes, I say no. You say stop, but I say go, go, go. Oh no. You say goodbye, I say goodbye. Exodus 10:1. And he who causes being said to Moses, come to Pharaoh, because I've made his heart and his servant's heart heavy, for the purpose of my setting these signs of mine among them, and for the purpose that you will tell in the ears of your son and your son's son about how I abused Egypt, about my signs that I set among them. And you will know that I am the Lord. Well, here we go again. We're being told the course of events and the purpose. God causes Pharaoh to not let the people go. In fact, on several occasions, Pharaoh relents, says go, but God stops it. It's not punishment for poor treatment. It's not punishment for slavery. No, it's not even karma. It is purely for the purpose of God demonstrating power and introducing himself. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. Stole many man's soul and faith. I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. Made damn sure that Pilate washed his hands, sealed his fate. Pleased to meet you. Hope you guess my name. But what's puzzling you is the nature of my game. Now, while the Rolling Stones may have left us guessing, there is no guessing here. God had specifically stated several times what, why, and how. At no point does the Torah present the plagues as punishment of the Egyptians. But I bet if you conducted a survey, almost everyone would say it's punishment. Aren't there any other ways of showing that you're God? I mean, why not just twitch your nose and deposit the people in the promised land? Or blink your eyes and have the lion lie with the lamb? The lesson seems to be strike fear in the hearts of those you want to dominate. That is the history of man. It's not just history. It has become the nature. No wonder love can be so difficult. Exodus 10:3. Moses and Aaron came to Pharaoh and said to him, "The Lord God of the Hebrews said this, how long do you refuse to be humbled in front of me? Let my people go, so they may serve me. Because if you refuse to let my people go, here, I'm bringing a locust swarm in your border tomorrow. It will cover the eye of the land. One won't be able to see the land. And it will eat the remains of what has survived, that is left to you from the hail, and it will eat every tree that is growing for you from the field. There will be nothing left." You would think, isn't that enough to say, okay, you win? Yeah, you'd think. But it doesn't serve God's purpose. It is God who keeps hardening Pharaoh's heart. Pharaoh is a slave. He's nothing but a tool of God in this entire section. Now, the 8th plague was the locusts, Rabbi. Exodus 10:12. The Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hand over the land of Egypt for the locusts, that it may come up over the land of Egypt and consume all the grass of the land that the hail left behind." And it covered the eye of the land, and the land went dark. And it consumed all the grass of the land and every fruit of the tree that the hail had left. Nothing green in tree or in grass of the field was left in all the land of Egypt. Friends, there are so many locusts, you could not see anything else. And here we have another swarming creature plague. 2 of them in 10 plagues. These doubles always tell you something, whether it's the double name calling, the double dreams. This warning is the great danger of the swarming mass, the mob. And locusts contribute nothing. They're the worst kind of natural disaster. There's some communities that are considered locusts because they feed off what others produce and produce nothing of their own. They only bring devastation. The question we need to ask ourselves, do we contribute and produce? Do we feed off others? Are we contributing? At this point, Egypt's really finished. There's no more food. There's no more riches. It's just devastation. It's starvation. That's all that's going to be left. Did there really need to be 10 plagues? No. But 10 is that magic number, and it has a connection to the 10 Sephirot on the Tree of Life. Well, Pharaoh calls Moses and says he sinned against God. Would Moses intercede on his behalf? Well, Moses does. And the Lord turned back a very strong west wind, and it picked up the locust swarm and blew it out to the Red Sea. Not one locust was left in all of Egypt's border. But it goes on. And the Lord strengthened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not let the children of Israel go. The Lord said to Moses, "Reach out your hand at the skies. Let there be darkness on the land of Egypt, and one will feel darkness." Choshech, darkness, a palpable darkness that you could feel. This 9th plague is another of those weighty plagues that represents the undoing of creation. Remember, the first thing we saw created was light. Now that is going to be taken away with the plague of darkness. There's such darkness, you can't see the hand in front of your face. That level of darkness leaves you afraid. It leaves you petrified. You can't move. Now this plague strikes at the 3rd of the 3 Thanksgiving prayers. Drink and food have been struck, and now the candle lighting, which thanks God for giving us fire, for giving us light to see, because light conquers fear. When we see, we do not fear. But this darkness is such that you can't see anything. In so many ways, I think this plague is probably the most prevalent in people's lives today. How many of us still live in darkness? What is it that we refuse to see? Do we fear the light because it hurts our eyes? What can we each do to help bring more light to ourselves and to the world? Well, you know what, friends? You could certainly start by bringing light into your own life. When you do, you can actually help bring it to others. Shadows are falling, and I've been here all day. It's too hot to sleep, and time is running away. Feel like my soul has turned into steel. I've still got the scars that the sun didn't heal. There's not even room enough to be anywhere. It's not dark yet, but it's getting there. Now, Not Dark Yet is probably the most Talmudic of all of Bob Dylan's songs. It's taken from the Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers, and you hear me refer to that great work a lot. There's plenty of translations out there, so if you get a chance, grab one and read it and enjoy what it says. But we're not quite finished. There's still one more. The final plague, purposed mass execution, the death of the firstborn. Makat Becharot. Exodus 11:1. And the Lord said to Moses, I'll bring one more plague on Pharaoh and on Egypt. After that, he'll let you go from here. When he lets go completely, he'll drive you out from here. It just goes so against what will be the sixth commandment forbidding murder, the intentional taking of life. It just doesn't seem right. And Moses said, the Lord said this, in the middle of the night, I am going out through Egypt. Now notice that he says, I am going out through Egypt. God himself. Now later Jewish tradition, presumably unable to bear the thought of God personally passing through Egypt and causing the deaths, introduced this concept of the angel of death. But there is no such thing as an angel of death in the Bible. There's no prejudice in this. It's not random. It is targeted. It is targeted execution. Exodus 11:5. Every firstborn in the land of Egypt will die. From the firstborn of Pharaoh, who's sitting on the throne, to the firstborn of the maid, who is behind the mill, and every firstborn of an animal. And still, God will control. He will make this happen regardless. Exodus 11:9. And the Lord said to Moses, Pharaoh won't listen to you in order to multiply my wonders in the land of Egypt. And the Lord strengthened Pharaoh's heart, and he did not let the children of Israel go from his land. Pharaoh has no choice. He's got to do this. Okay. And it's, you're going to see that the thing that stops it, of course, is going to be the blood. It's not just for Egyptians. It's whoever didn't put the blood out. So the blood was the vaccine of the time. In life, there are things that occur that we just find distasteful, morally repugnant, unworthy of humanity. The Holocaust was one of those things. But there's other things that just go against our moral compasses. We don't like them. We try and explain them away or come up with reasons for them. We don't like that the Egyptians would kill Abraham to get Sarah. So we make provision for it's okay to lie. Except we know that actually never took place. We don't like Esau's nastiness, so we side with Jacob and overlook all of the horrible things he does. Except there's nothing pointing to the negativity of Esau anywhere, only of Jacob. We do not like God doing the killing of the firstborn, so we made an angel of death. We do not like Moses ordering the genocide of Moab and Midian coming up, but we make them enemies and deserving of eradication. Do not go against your moral compass, my friends. It is your true north. All of this just serves as an introduction to the world and the preamble to God's great announcement at Sinai, the great epiphany. The people will now leave, and God has determined a particular time and method for it. Exodus 12:1. And God said to Moses and to Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, this month is the beginning of months for you. It is the first of the months of the year for you. Okay, now we know the year actually begins in the spring, as it should, and that makes sense. The people are to take a lamb, and this will be used for the Passover ritual. And here's where the big ritual comes in. It'll be for you to watch over it until the 14th day of the month. All the community, the congregation of Israel, will slaughter it between the 2 evenings, and they'll take some of the blood with hyssop and place it on the 2 doorposts and the lintel of the houses in which they will eat it. They will eat the meat in this night, and they will eat it fire roasted and with unleavened bread on bitter herbs. That's it. Those are your instructions for Passover. It's kind of changed over time. And I shall pass through the land of Egypt in this night, and I shall strike every firstborn in the land of Egypt. Not of Egyptians, just in the land of Egypt, from human to animal, and I shall make judgments on all the gods of Egypt. I am the Lord. The blood will be a sign for you on the houses in which you are. I shall see the blood, and I shall halt at you. Pesach. Pesach means halt. Doesn't mean Passover. God will stop when he sees the blood, and he will move on to the next house. And this day will become a commemoration for you, and you shall celebrate it, a festival of the Lord. You shall celebrate it through your generations in eternal law. 7 days you shall eat unleavened bread. This is the festival of freedom, my friends. And we celebrate freedom every year. We are reminded every year to be free. Well, the world is sacred. So is everything in it. Express your gratitude, light a candle, make a wish. Celebrate your lives. The lives of those you love. You love a lot of people. Share your feelings with them. Live free. Be free. Honor your freedom. Be well, be happy, be blessed. We set in motion everything that happens in our lives. It is our intention, our kavana, our cause, our effect. Everything is linked. As I said, you always have time to forgive and be forgiven. You have the knowledge of what's good and bad, so acknowledge what you have done wrong to yourself, to God, and to any person you've wronged. Ask forgiveness, but always do so with sincerity, accountability, and vulnerability. Forgive those who've hurt you as you learn to be forgiving and compassionate, because the secret of forgiveness, compassion, and peace is in acceptance. Can you accept yourself, other people in the world, just as they are? Can you accept life as it is without trying to control it? Because if you do, you can experience the peace that acceptance brings. So keep on dreaming, my friends. Keep on being. Keep on sharing. Keep on shining. Keep teaching. Keep spreading joy and goodwill. Do not follow fear. Follow love. It's always there in front of you. Remember to faith and unwavering adherence to principle. Just as I have faith in the principle of love of all of you. Act with purity of heart and mind. Despise none, defraud none, hate none. Cherish all. Honor every child of God, every creature of the earth. May all people know peace in this year. May you nurture kindness and love everywhere you go all the time. And work to be present in the body. Expand your heart, quiet your mind, because the deepest source of your real power lies in your consciousness, in your ability to be mindful, aware, present in all of life's circumstances, in who you are. Embrace love, not fear. Forgiveness, not anger, and be there for someone, because someone will always be there for you whether you know it or not. And continue to explore faith and belief and what they mean to you and you alone. And never accept shame as a natural state, because whatever you feel others have felt, whatever you've experienced others have too, we share together. We learn together and we help each other, because we are each of us trying to find love and acceptance and support. We all have or could have that special someone in our lives. So find them. Tell them what they need. Remember, you're never alone on your journey to your promised land. Keep forgiving those you need to forgive. Keep asking forgiveness from those you need to ask forgiveness of. And do not fear the darkness that reaches for you so often in life. We always can find ourselves in the darkness. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again. Because a vision softly creeping left its scenes while I was sleeping. And the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sounds of silence. There's never a need to fear, especially when you are with a friend. Thank you for joining me, my friends. Have a great week. A great year. Keep sharing the light. Keep exercising forgiveness. Be thankful, be gracious, be kind, be loving. Believe in yourself and in love. Continue to spread a little goodwill to the world. And never forget, you are a miracle in someone else's life. Shabbat shalom and blessings to you all. Take care.